So by the time that this photo was taken, I had been in 30 foster homes, I had been molested, and I'd been raped, and I had also attempted to take my life by suicide. I didn't know it then, but that smile and my personality would help me out in way more than I knew. As you guys can probably tell, my life didn't always start out that sad. My parents worked really hard to provide for their growing family. But like most people in the inner cities of Detroit, they fell victim to the crack epidemic. And with that being said, my sister and my brothers and I were put into the foster care system. With over 400,000 kids in the foster care system, many of you will eventually meet, marry, employ, or become a friend of a foster child. Many foster children like myself suffer from PTSD, anxiety, and a multitude of other mental illnesses. With knowing that, shouldn't we all learn how to communicate with them? When I was 16 years old, I became homeless, but I was not hopeless. I knew that I had to obtain my GED so I can get a full-time job, and getting a job wasn't the hard part. The hard part was keeping a job. By the time I was 20 years old, I had already worked a dozen jobs. And the problem was my issue with authority and my issues rooting from foster care. I couldn't do it. I was lashing out at the customers, I was lashing out at my managers. That was until I got a job at Dillard's. That's where I met Crystal and Mavis. They were the first people who held me accountable for my actions, but then also made sure that it was okay that I knew it was okay that I was behaving that way. Instead of lashing out, they taught me to actually put my energy towards something productive like my sales goals. I remember one time, my first time actually, I lashed out at Crystal. She told me to gather my things, and I was for sure it was going to be number 21 on that job list, but she didn't fire me. Instead, she asked me why. Why did you behave that way? No one else had ever asked me why. I told her about my time in foster care, and she and Mavis took the time to communicate with me. By the time I left Dillard's, I was its top salesperson, all because Mavis and Crystal took the time to communicate and to listen. All I ever wanted was a family of my own, and when I was young, that led me to be in very dangerous relationships. I found myself in the same type of relationships that I had seen growing up, just very dangerous and very non-good. That was until I took some time to love myself, and then I met Christopher. We met on an online dating site, and we moved in within about a month of meeting each other. I trusted him because he could actually listen, and I could give him all of my concerns, and he actually understood. Like most couples, we've had our ups and downs. You know, we've even ended up on divorce court. But unlike most couples, Christopher had to learn how to deal with a partner who has PTSD, and more importantly, how to communicate with them. I asked Christopher one time, how did he deal with my personality disorder? He says, the more that he understood my childhood, the better he could actually communicate with me as an adult. So in other way, he talked to me, he learned about my time in foster care, and realized that I did not have a normal childhood, therefore I would not have a normal adulthood. We're coming up on our 8th year anniversary, and I just want to take these couple seconds to say I love you, babe. With that being said, you guys can probably guess that I have a hard time building friendships. Jumping from foster home to foster home, it was very hard for me to understand how to build sustainable relationships. I find myself wanting to be in control, I find myself having extreme anxiety, and that leads to self-sabotage and burned bridges. This one's really hard for me, I've lost a lot of friends. I've burned a lot of bridges because of my attitude and because of my way of not communicating with my friends. These are the friends I've lost because of that. I had to learn how to not let foster care affect my current life. And that was very hard because most foster children like myself, we do suffer from anxiety and severe trauma that was caused from foster care. This is an example of what a text message would look like from me. I take holidays and my birthday very seriously because those are things that I never got as a child. So when someone flakes or no-show, I actually take it personal, and it brings me back to that 7-year-old kid that no one wanted. I experienced new foster homes, new people, new religions, new everything. And at first, I thought that that was a bad thing. But as an adult, I've learned to use those skills so I can take those things I've learned to build my new friendships. Foster care is not a bad thing, it's a learning opportunity. In the end, foster adults are just like you and I, just like you guys. You know, we've just had different life experiences. The only thing you have to do to become a friend of a foster child is to listen and to learn how to communicate. But that should be easy because you guys should be doing that with everyone anyways, right? Thank you so much.